Welcome guys to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien. Hopefully you guys having a good weekend out there. We're looking at the charts here for some of these cryptocurrencies that are trading on the weekend. I'll be taking some viewer requests here on your favorite altcoins. But yeah, right now we're getting started by looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart here. Currently, Bitcoin dominates the market with 61% of the total market cap here for cryptocurrencies. But this number is dropping, and it's been dropping the last few days here. Can I just get a sound check, guys? Let me see if you guys hear me pretty well. Let me know if the music is a little bit too loud. I can always turn the music down. But yeah, I think I can hear myself pretty good right now. So yeah, we're looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart. I got the moving averages here. This red line is a 200-day moving average. Pretty important moving average to have on the Bitcoin dominance. And you can see that over the last few days here, we've been dropping like a rock on the Bitcoin dominance. We were trading at about like 64% of Bitcoin dominance earlier this week. About last Friday, we had Bitcoin dominance of like 64, almost 65% actually, and now we're at 61.77%, and we're also below this 200-day moving average. If it kind of feels like the beginning of an altcoin season, you wouldn't be wrong, because we haven't been below the 200-day moving average like this red line. We haven't been below this red line since back here in November of last year. Do you guys remember what it felt like last year around December time? It almost felt like an altcoin season, right? I mean, maybe it might have been a little bit short-lived, you know, because we saw Bitcoin dominance come right back up in December going into January, right? And then Bitcoin dominance just took over from there and just kept climbing up. But this is a good sign. This makes me feel good about an altcoin season starting up all over again here, okay? We want to see this. We want to see this, but we also want to see the price of Bitcoin continue going up. The best case scenario would be to see Bitcoin price go up while Bitcoin dominance is going down. It means that, yeah, we're in the bull market, in a bull run, but more money is going into altcoins than Bitcoin, and that would be nice for those of us who've been in the altcoin, you know, market for a while here. Let me just zoom back here so you can see what the Bitcoin dominance has done over the history here, over the last few years. It has been climbing up ever since 2022, so there is that going on here. But back in 2021, okay, when we actually had an actual altcoin season and it lasted a few months, it was because this Bitcoin dominance, which was trading at like 70% back in January of 2021, okay, that Bitcoin dominance, it started dropping in February below the 200-day moving average, and then it took a big drop here in March and April of 2021, and we stayed below that 200-day moving average, that red line, for like the longest time here. And that was an altcoin season. That felt like we were winning an altcoin market here. So that's why I wanted to start off with this chart here, because I want to talk about altcoins and go over your favorite altcoins and some of my favorites. But I wanted to show you guys that, yeah, it's okay to be excited about altcoin season starting up, because we're below that 200-day moving average, that red line. And we need to stay below that 200-day moving average, to be honest with you. And we want to see Bitcoin dominance drop down. I want to see it get down to like maybe 40%, okay? I don't think that's too much to ask for. But 40% Bitcoin dominance would be nice to see later on this year. And then we can really call this an altcoin season, for sure. And we can make some money here, right? That's what we're all trying to do, right? Make some money on our altcoins. I see I got some people in the chat here. I see Idris is in the chat. Is it a good time to buy Pepe, or is it too high? We'll take a look at Pepe. Thank you for that request. I actually, my little brother gave me some Pepe for Christmas. He sent me some Pepe coin as a Christmas gift because he knew I was into crypto. And he wanted to like do something special, so I got some Pepe coin from Christmas. Let's see. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but you're saying when Litecoin hits 300s, the cycle's complete. All right, yeah, that's interesting. Well, maybe we'll take a look at the Litecoin chart. Appreciate that. Uh, Jordan over here is saying, Damien, you always say I'm wrong, but NCT and DNT will both go over 20 cents. All right, I mean, we could take a look at that chart too. Let me start writing these things down so we can take a look at some of these charts here. I'm assuming that's a request, right? And then of course, we got another guy here asking for XRP, so we'll take a look at XRP as well. Appreciate that. And yeah, let me yeah, we'll take a look at NCT, and I'm not sure. Do you want me to look at DNT as well? We could take a look at that as well. Yeah, and then of course, yeah, we gotta look at Pepe as well. All right, let's see. Am I missing any other comments here? Let me see. Let me just take a look at my comments here. I'm doing a live stream on TikTok and YouTube, so I got my YouTube guys keeping me busy, and I got my TikTok guys keeping me busy as well. Naro says the bear market's starting. Maybe. I mean, it would probably start when Bitcoin's at all-time highs, right? At some point, it has to go down to start a bear market, right? But I wouldn't get too excited about a bear market. I think there's just too many positive catalysts going on in cryptocurrency world, especially after we just passed that Genius Act and stablecoin bill. I don't think now's a good time to be bearish or shorting the market, in my opinion. I think the bears are going to get punched in the mouth a few more times over the next few months. And then when the bears give up, that's probably going to be when the bear market actually starts. Alright. I wanted to take a look real quick here at CoinMarketCap. See what coins are doing pretty well here. This is CoinMarketCap.com. Good place to start your research on your cryptocurrencies. It tells you like what coins are trending out here. We got SPK, MAS, XTZ. Might be some coins to take a look at. It means that people are talking about it on the social media and probably buying them up on the exchanges here. We'll look at the market cap. We have almost $4 trillion in cryptocurrency. Well, that's a pretty crazy number to see that. That number's so high, and Bitcoin has 60% of that. I think Bitcoin's like at $2 trillion right now. We'll take a look at it as I scroll down here. And then the Fear and Greed Index is at 69. What a very great, interesting number to be at, right? But this leads me to believe that we might be a little bit overbought right now. That people are feeling very comfortable about their coins, which is it's okay, but it you know, if this number starts creeping up into like the 80s, then I'm feeling that that's when we'll see a pullback. For my buddy there that thinks the bear market's about to start, we need to see a little bit more greed on the Fear and Greed Index, in my opinion. Okay, so yeah, so here we're looking at some of these cryptocurrencies. We got Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin has about $2.3 trillion in it, and Ethereum has about 428 billion, and XRP has 203 billion. We'll be talking about XRP as well. Ethereum did a lot of damage to the Bitcoin dominance earlier this week, and then XRP came in and started throwing in some punches on the Bitcoin dominance, and that's the reason why we've seen Bitcoin dominance going down, because Ethereum and XRP are getting money pouring into their coins right now, and they're some of the biggest market cap coins out there, so that's very interesting to see. Solana also did pretty well this week as well, and it's a high market cap cryptocurrency sitting at about $95 billion. Let's take a look at the ones that actually did really good this week, the last 7 days. We have Curve Token, CRV, up 59% for the week. We have Floki, up 45% for the week. Tezos, up 41% this week, and I think it's one of the trending coins on, yeah, right here. Tezos is one of the trending coins on the trending coin indicator. And then we have Hedera up 38%, Bonk up 36%, and the list goes on. Double-digit percentage gainers all across the board. A pretty good week. Let's see who had a bad week. Pump.fum had a bad week, down 42%. That's very interesting. I'm not sure why that's the case. I'll have to look into that at some point. And then Pi Network is also down about 4.9% this week, but a lot of these cryptocurrencies were winners, except for these ones right here. Monero also down for some reason. That's interesting. Bitcoin Cash not really doing much this week either, and then Hyperliquid. So these coins might be some coins to take a look at, because they might be catching some bids maybe later on next week. Okay, if they didn't have a good week this week, maybe they'll have a good week next week. This could be an area for you to start doing your research to figure out why these coins are down, and then are they going to possibly go up next week or next month. That's where I would start. But yeah, let's take a look at we'll take a look at Pepe, and then we'll take a look at XRP on the charts here. Appreciate those requests. Let's get into it. So yeah, that was my overall market analysis on CoinMarketCap. Now we'll get into some of these coins here. I do have some previous chart work on Pepe. We're currently trading at 1300 on Pepe, 1,309. I'm looking at the daily chart on Pepe, and yeah, Pepe has seen better days, especially back in November of last year. We're on Coinbase chart. I probably should put on a different chart for Pepe. Let me go and see if I can gather some more data here. Let's see what Pepe on Binance should have more information here. Yeah, and I'll get rid of this previous Fibonacci analysis here. Pepe currently trading at 1309. We're above the 200-day moving average, so we, in my opinion, we can start to be bullish on Pepe now, because we got above that red line, the 200-day moving average. And we're just looking to see if Pepe is able to make a higher high than what it did back here in May. We saw Pepe as high as like 1600, 1632. And we just want to see Pepe continue making higher highs and get above that level, so that way we know that we're still in a bull trend here. We can kind of say that we're in a bull trend already, because you know we have higher lows here forming on the daily chart. Let me just get rid of the moving averages. So you got higher lows forming. You stay above this this uptrend, and you're still, the bullish thesis is still intact here, that we can still be bullish on Pepe, as long as we don't lose this uptrend. If we lose this uptrend, then I'm gonna have to start considering that maybe we need to be bearish on Pepe. And also, if we lose the 200-day moving average, of course, you know, below that red line, and yeah, you would have to start to become more bearish on Pepe. But I think we can continue to be bullish on Pepe. And I'll do a Fibonacci analysis to kind of figure out where the levels might be for us to look for if Pepe continues being bullish here. If we continue being bullish, we have a 1272 Fibonacci that says Pepe could get up to like 1900, and then we have a 1618 that says we could see Pepe get up to like 2300. And I think that 2300 level is confluent to where we were trading at on Pepe back in December, when we saw this thing at, you know, roughly 2700, 2800. So Pepe, it can get up there if we continue being bullish here. All right. More likely we'll probably see the 1900 level first, though. And when we see these levels here, it probably means that we're gonna probably get rejected maybe before we punch through and actually go above the 1900 level. But I would be targeting 1900 on Pepe, and I think that's what is that for a percentage gain here? Just measuring from where we are right now to the 1900 level, and you're gonna get yourself a 47% gainer on Pepe if it just gets up to 1900. Now, if it continues going higher to like 2300, then you're looking at like a 76% gainer on Pepe. So those are your targets to be looking for on Pepe. You can still make some money on this asset. But if Pepe decides to come back down on us for any reason here, then yeah, I think the 200-day moving average could provide support. And that's sitting at like 1080, and that's also happens to be where the 0.5 retracement's at. So I'd be looking out for I'd be looking out for about 1080 on Pepe. Maybe you can get some cheaper Pepe at that level. And if it does come down to that level, it might get a bounce and actually continue being bullish and just create a higher low in this area. So we'll see how that goes. Ask me about Pepe on a future live stream, and we'll see if this actually plays out here. All right, I see John made a request for ZBCN and then Chronos. Okay, I got you. Appreciate those requests, John. I got the TikTok guys keeping me busy here, but I appreciate you putting in your request here. We'll take a look at that. I didn't forget about you. Did not forget about you. All right, yeah. So yeah, we are gonna look at XRP, Mike. Yep. That is gonna be the next one to look at here. Appreciate you making that request. And then Zayn is saying, what do I think about World Liberty Finance pre-sale on Mexi? It's backed by Trump. How much of a percentage gain do I think it'll have? I'm not sure. We'll take a look at it if I can find it on the trading view chart. We'll take a look at the World Liberty Finance. But I think just because it's associated with Trump, it's probably gonna have a little bit of a bull run when it actually starts trading on the markets here. And then we'll just have to see how it goes from there, because you know Trump coin also had a pretty good bull run in the beginning, and then that thing petered out and started going down to lower prices. So I'm not sure if I'm not sure if World Liberty is going to do the same thing here. But let's take a look at XRP. I think you guys all know XRP had a pretty good week this past week. For those who haven't been paying attention to the markets, XRP is now trading at $3.43. And it had a really good Thursday. Yeah, really good Thursday, up 14% on Thursday. We saw XRP get above $3 and then shoot its way up to like $3.55, and then on Friday here we saw XRP get up to like $3.66. So after it made that little impulse move, I wouldn't really call it little, after it made that big impulse move, I actually drew out a Fibonacci here, and I actually did a TikTok video about XRP. You guys might want to take a look at that. I also put out a YouTube short on XRP. But I'll go over the analysis here on XRP. So XRP up to 366. We were seeing it at like $1.90 back here on June 22nd. I came out with this Fibonacci number here. These Fibonacci numbers and colors here. If XRP is going to have a pullback and still be extremely bullish here, it might come down to $3.28, which is this blue number here. This 0.786 retracement is saying that XRP could come down to $3.28 before we might catch in some bids here and go up to higher prices. A more normal pullback, all right, if XRP is not that bullish, but it's still, you know, doing a higher low, it might create a higher low at $3.04 or $2.99 here at the golden pocket level here on the Fibonacci. Okay, a more steeper pullback, right? If this is just a fake out and we start losing the momentum on XRP, we could come down to this 0.236 retracement level. That level is sitting at $2.31, which is where the moving averages are sitting at here. The 100-day and the 50-day, these blue and green line here. We could see that. We could see a very steep pullback if we lose this momentum. I'm not sure why that would be the case. We'd probably have to see something like some geopolitical event, maybe another war breaking out somewhere, and that would cause the markets to, like, you know, freak out and XRP comes down to $2.31. But yeah, we could lose $1 from where we're at right now on XRP, and it would just be a normal pullback. And I think these moving averages will provide us some support here at $2.30. Okay, I have to give out that number here, guys. Don't get mad at me, but you know that it is possible for us to come down there, only for us to then go back up again. And if we do go up on XRP, we do have a 1272 level here, saying that XRP could get up to like $4.13. And then the next level after that is going to be the 1618 at $4.74. And I know for some of you guys, you know, who are extremely bullish on XRP, those numbers aren't good enough for you. So we actually do have some higher numbers here. There's a 2618 that says XRP could get up to $6.50, which would be basically almost like a double from where we're at right now. And then there's a 3618 that says $8.26. That could still be possible in 2025 here. We still have, what, like 5 more months left in this year. And then, you know, if the bull run continues, maybe that happens in 2026. But I think it's steady as she goes for XRP. XRP has been trading sideways almost all throughout this year and staying above that 200-day moving average for the most part. We lost it here in June, towards the end of May and in June here. But now XRP is cranking the rocket fuel here, and we are starting to see higher prices for XRP. So congratulations to the XRP investors. I know you guys get a lot of animosity, a lot of jokes sent your way, but you guys are proving the haters and the doubters wrong, and by being an XRP. And congratulations again to the XRP investors out there. All right, we'll move on to NCT and DNT, I believe, and then we'll take a look at ZBCN and Pronos. All right, take a look at NCT. Polyswarm. Let's take a look at on Gate.io, see what's doing there. This thing is currently trading, NCT is currently trading at 2 cents roughly, 0.021 pennies to be exact. This thing has seen better days, obviously, during the little altcoin season we had in January of this year. And then it just been, lower highs, lower lows, and dropping like a rock. But what I do like with NCT is that, yeah, I mean, we dropped like a rock and we got to the lowest level here in April, where we saw this thing trading at 0.013 pennies. But then you kind of created like a higher low here in June at 0.016 pennies, and you haven't gone lower than that. You're still making higher lows here. Now it's time for us to make higher highs here. What I don't like about this chart is we do get a lot of selling pressure when we get to the 200-day moving average. Look at this. Like back here on July 4th, this thing got as high as 0.026 pennies is where the 200-day moving average was sitting at, and we immediately came right back down, and it created this little this big sell side wick here. Some people call it scam wicks, but it just means that somebody with a lot of NCT, a lot of Polyswarm, is selling every time it gets to the 200-day moving average. So I think that's going to be the case, because we've seen that here on July 4th. It happened again here on June 4th, and kind of happened here on May 11th. So be careful with the 200-day moving average. This thing is acting like a bully, and somebody out there is clicking the sell button every time it gets up there. Right now that 200-day moving average is sitting at 0.025 pennies. You should probably put if you're day trading this or swing trading this, probably put your sell limit order at the 200-day moving average, and you might get filled, and whoever is selling is probably going to push that thing down on you when we get to that level. But if we are going to be bullish on this, then we have to start getting above this 200-day moving average and start using it as support instead of resistance. So that's when I'll become more bullish on Polyswarm. For my buddy that requested this, get above this 200-day moving average and start using it as support instead of resistance, and then I can start being more bullish on NCT. And then of course, if NCT is going to be bullish, then yeah, I mean, we might actually see it get up to like almost 3 cents where it was trading at back in February. And then who knows, maybe we might see 4 cents again, like it was trading back in January. But you first got to get above this red line, this 200-day moving average, which is acting like a bully, and somebody keeps clicking the sell button every time we get to that level. All right, so that's my analysis there on NCT. You're doing all right. Just keep making those higher lows. Don't lose this uptrend that you're in right now, and I think you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And then just be on the lookout when you get to the 200-day moving average. There's probably going to be some sellers selling on you. All right, we'll take a look at DNT. District 0X. That's interesting. That's a very interesting name. This coin, District 0X, is trading at 3 cents right now. Just like a lot of altcoins, it had a pretty good altcoin season back in like November of last year, December of last year. We saw this thing trading at roughly almost 6 cents. Okay. Even better during March and April. That also felt like an altcoin season as well. April of 2024, March of 2024. This thing was trading at like 11 cents. Okay. But what are we doing right now? Well, for this year, We did see the lows here in April, like a lot of other assets here. And we created the low for the year, I believe, in April. And then we had some higher lows here on July 9th. We got as low as like 2 cents, 0.023 pennies to be exact. So just keep making higher lows here, and then eventually make higher highs, and then you can say that, yeah, we're going to be in an uptrend and we're in a bull run on District 0x. And of course, you know my opinion, get above this red line, the 200-day moving average, and then yeah, we can say that we're in a bull market here, a bull trend for District 0x. And you're trying to do that right now. This 200-day moving average is acting as resistance. You saw that here yesterday. 200-day moving average was sitting at 3 pennies, 0.031 pennies. We got as high as like 0.032 pennies, and then we came right back down again. All right, but still making an uptrend. Okay, still making roughly higher lows here. So just continue doing this uptrend and get above this 200-day moving average, and I think you can be bullish on District 0x. And then I want to eventually see us get above these highs here back in May. We've got as high as what? 0.036 pennies? Yeah, do that. And then, yeah, you're still in a bull trend and you're making progress on going to higher prices here on District 0x. So I think you're doing just fine here. Do I really need to do a Fibonacci analysis? I could. I can pull from the high here to the low here, and we'll see what that does for us. Going down from the high to the swing low. And you got a 1272 that says that this thing could get up to 4 pennies. If it continues being bullish. Once you get past 3 pennies, you'll probably go up to 4 pennies. And then you got the 1618 saying 4.5 pennies might have a little bit of resistance at that level. I'm trying to zoom out here a little bit, and I think, yeah, 4.5 pennies kind of matches up to like where we were trading at back in January. There might be some people in January that want to get out of this coin, and they're going to click the sell button when they break even at 4.5 pennies. And as I start to zoom out here some more, you do have this 2618 that says we could get up to like roughly 6 pennies on this asset. And yeah, you know, if you do that, you basically doubled your money. You should probably take profits. Not financial advice, just my opinion. But if I doubled my money in something, I would probably click the sell button. Sell a little bit, you know. Get used to clicking the sell button when you're in profit. And you'll be alright. You'll be alright. Alright, so that's DNT. Now we gotta look at ZBCN for my buddy John316 here. And then we'll get Chronos. And then HRJ Trading's in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. You're saying that $6.50 XRP? You must have been, you're probably like watching earlier in the live stream here. We were talking about XRP, and yeah, I think XRP could get up to $6.50 maybe later on this year, and double the money for a lot of XRP investors. All right, let's look at ZBCN. ZBCN currently trading at 0.003 pennies, down 1% today. And ZBCN is very interesting because yeah, you had a nice bull run here in May a couple of months ago. You topped out, got as high as about 0.0069 pennies. 0.071 pennies here. And then I don't know, I guess things happen in June. We had, you know, the events in the Middle East dropping the market, and ZBCN went with it. And ZBCN, it looks like it's getting a bounce off the 50-day moving average here. We sort of get as low as what, 0.0023 pennies on July 6th here. But still an uptrend, believe it or not. You know, if I get rid of the moving averages real quick, I mean, you can say that you're still creating higher lows. Just keep doing what you're doing, and you're still in an uptrend in the bull market on ZBCN. And you might be just catching, I mean, if you're lucky to catch the lows here in July, you might just be creating a higher low here. And you can see that, yeah, we came down to the 0.236 retracement, this red number here. I'm just trying to see if I can zoom in a little bit so you guys can see that number here. That 0.031 penny level, which is kind of like where we're at right now. This is a level that needs to be defended for us to continue being bullish. If we start losing this level, then you probably don't want to be in ZBCN. So I'll probably put my stop loss right at where, what, July 6th at 0.0023 pennies. If you lose that low, that means we're probably still in a downtrend and there's something wrong with ZBCN. But I think you can be bullish on this asset. I think you might be cashing the higher lows here. And if you do go up to higher prices, you're looking to at least try to get to the 618 at 51,423 here. This golden pocket level could act as resistance if we get up there. So just keep that in mind. 0.786 retracement might also act as resistance at 60,165. And then of course you got to get above the highs here in June when you saw yourself at 71,300. But if you get up to that price, then you basically doubled your money from where it is right now. And I think you should click the sell button after you double your money. But yeah, first we gotta, we gotta show that we can hold this level here at 31,500. Just keep holding that level, and then work your way up to the green pocket zone here, and then eventually work your way up to the golden pocket, and I think you'll be fine on ZBCN. Alright, so that's ZBCN, and we'll look at the Chronos. I take it that's probably some of your biggest holdings here, John. Just curious, John, what is your biggest holdings in cryptocurrency world? I know myself, I'm big on Solana and Sui. Those are my biggest bags. I also have a pretty good bag of XRP and Aerodrome Finance. Some of my top altcoins right now. All right. So we are looking at Chronos, currently trading at 12 cents, up 2% today. All right, so you're having a decent day today. And I have done previous chart work here because John has asked me about this coin before, and I said get above that 11 cent level and you'll be fine. But don't be surprised if we come right back down to this 11.5 cent level here, this red line here, and just back test it as support. Make sure that we're good before we go up to higher prices here. But very good to see that we basically respected. We've been in a range between 8 cents and 11.5 cents. You can see, like, when we got down here, okay, we stayed at 8 cents, and then we jumped up to 11 cents, and then we came back down to 8 cents again. Slowly started climbing back up to like 10 cents. Didn't make it up to 11 cents. Came right back down to 8 cents again. And now we're respecting this 8 cent level, and we're catching some bids here on Chronos. And if we keep catching those bids here, I'm expecting, like, back here in January, people here in January probably want to get out and just break even at like 14 cents. So I think 14 cents is a level that you should be thinking about considering selling some of your Chronos for a profit here, hopefully. And then we have some other levels here at like 17, 18 cents where we were trading at back in November and December of 2024. I think those are some other levels to be looking to sell your Chronos here. So I think it's steady as she goes here for Chronos. You're probably going to come back to 11.5 cents just to make sure that it's good. But I think you kind of already did that already, did you? Yeah, we came down to 11.5 cents today, actually. So you already had your back test. Don't be surprised if we back test it again. But if we do and we stay above it, then you know that's a good area to support your Chronos. And then you could see 14, 15 cents on this asset in the next few days and weeks to come here. Let me just quickly turn on the moving averages, see what the moving averages are doing. And you're above all the moving averages, so you're doing alright. Okay, and now these moving averages, they need to catch up to where the price is at. Don't be surprised if you have to go sideways for a little bit and then give these moving averages a chance to catch up, and then you might get your next up run, or your next impulse move up to higher prices here once those moving averages catch up to where the price is at. Right now, you got the 200-day sitting at 9 cents and 100-day sitting at 9 cents. So yeah, 9 cents could also be a good support area if we do come down to those levels here. Just keep that in mind. Let's see. Lyson Jick Banger asking me, do I leverage trade? Yes, I do. I actually do day trading. I'm currently in a day trade on Bitcoin. Nothing too big, just a small position. I'm gonna have to look at some of these charts to see if I want to get into some other altcoins here for my leverage trading. But right now, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just doing 5x leverage on Bitcoin right now. I think we already had a pretty good run in the markets here. I think we got to go sideways on some of these coins. Probably we'll see sideways trading during the weekend. And then we'll have to see what Wall Street wants to do on Monday if they want to continue pouring money in the cryptocurrency world. What platform do I use for leverage trading? I use Mexi Exchange. Is a good platform. Let me just see if I can turn that on right here. Waiting for Mexi to sponsor me, and then I can start doing maybe some affiliate codes and give you guys some deals to trade on Mexi. But Mexi already has some pretty good deals already. Like right now, you can trade on Mexi Exchange, and they have like $0 fees. They're not going to charge you any trading fees, and that's been going on for like all throughout this week. I think they're doing it as part of like Crypto Week. But yeah, Mexi Exchange, good exchange to get on. You're gonna probably have to get a VPN. Because they don't allow traders to trade in the United States as of now. But yeah, just get yourself a VPN and you'll be alright, and you can start trading on Mexi Exchange and do all your leverage trading there. You're asking me what time frame do I trade most on? When I first, I start top to bottom. I look at the daily chart first. See if how things are doing on that daily chart, and then I'll zoom in to like the 1 hour chart, see how things are looking on the 1 hour, and then once I start getting ideas like whether I'm bullish or bearish on an asset, then I'll start looking at the 15-minute chart, see how things are looking on the 15-minute, see if in my opinion, if you're above the 200 MA on the 15-minute, then you can be bullish. Like here on Chronos, I would actually be bullish on Chronos, and I would put my stop loss below the 200 MA on the 15-minute, or maybe one of these higher lows that are being created right here. Okay, and then I actually like trading when I'm in a trade and I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen next. I like looking at the 5-minute chart, maybe the 1-minute chart if I really want to get precise on my trade and get a good entry point. But yeah, usually I trade on the 5-minute. Once I'm in a trade, I'll be on the 5-minute chart. And then I'll just go back, I look at the 15-minute one more time just to confirm, whether I want to stay in the trade or not. And then, yeah, I just zoom back out again when I need to. Hope that answers your question. Zal is saying best portfolio: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, Solana, Link, Dot, AVAX. Wow, that's a lot of coins there. Yeah, I think those are some good coins to be in. I'll give my thumbs up on that one. Nick says, are there any good platforms that allow leverage trading in the US? You can do Coinbase. Coinbase has leverage trading. You can leverage trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XLM, XRP. I will look at Coinbase, and I think also Kraken. Kraken is another United States exchange that does derivatives and futures trading. But their rules are a little bit strict, that you have to prove to them that you have like $50,000 in assets. Or you have to at least say that you have $50,000 in assets before they'll let you do leverage trading with them. So I don't know, if you have that already in your account, I think Coinbase can quickly check that and say, yeah, you're good to go. But just keep that in mind, that the rules are a little bit more strict with those US cryptocurrency exchanges that do futures leverage trading. But yeah, I would start looking at Coinbase and Kraken if you want to try to do leverage trading with the United States cryptocurrency exchange. Zal saying Chainlink $76 bull run. That's interesting. And then I have a request here for Polkadot. We'll take a look at that. Yeah. So I guess we'll look at Polkadot and Chainlink next. Oh, and then we also have Cardano and Tars AI. I'm sorry. So many comments here. Alright, so I guess we'll look at Tars AI first, since that came in. And then we'll look at Cardano. And then what else? What else we gotta look at here? Chainlink, I believe. Polkadot and Chainlink. Then we'll look at Dot and Chainlink. Okay. And I think that's it for now. Wow, that's a lot of money to be putting into NCT and DNT. And I wish you a lot of luck trying to get that 10x. I will pray for you. Yep. And is this a request for Lecker? Lecker. Alright, if I can find it, I'll try to, look it up. Oh, and then somebody said World Liberty Finance. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pull that up, but if I can, I'll try. Alright, so yeah, I think that's it. Oh, and then, we even have XLM. Okay. You guys want to look at XLM as well. A lot of requests here. Alright. What are my views on Chainlink? I think I'll come up with my view when we look at the chart here, but I think Chainlink is a solid cryptocurrency to be in, from what I know. But we'll take a look at it on the charts and see what it looks like it might do next. But let's look at World Liberty Finance if I can find it. World Liberty Finance on Radium Exchange. Is this thing currently trading? Is this the World Liberty Finance that we're talking about? It is trading. Let's look at it on the daily chart. It's on Radium Decentralized Exchange. It looks like this thing was trading back here in January. Wow, okay. But yeah, you had the little Trump effect, right? You had that little bull run. Everybody gets excited about, World Liberty Finance and Donald Trump, and then it comes right back down again on you. So it doesn't have any staying power, in my opinion. And then, I don't know, maybe some news came out in June, and we had another pump up here. And now you're starting to get some volume here on the trading. But interesting, yeah. World Liberty is now starting to make higher lows here. And it's in an uptrend. Yeah, not much data here, but I will do quickly a Fibonacci analysis here for you. And yeah, just continue the uptrend, continue what you're doing, and you're gonna probably climb yourself up to eventually the 618 golden retracement at 0.0032 pennies on World Liberty Finance, and that's probably where you might get a little bit of a rejection before you then create another higher low and go to higher prices. And then yeah, maybe we'll see 0.00504 pennies on World Liberty all over again, like we saw back here in June. So this is interesting. This is on, this is something to keep on your radar. World Liberty Finance coin. Currently you can get it on the decentralized exchanges like Radium. And that's where I'm getting this data from. But yeah, one to be on the lookout for. Very interesting choice there. Alright, now we'll take a look at Tars AI and Lecker. Can I even find Lecker? Let me see if I can find Lecker. What the? Yeah, yeah. Is this Footlocker? I don't know. I can't find it. if you have an exchange that you know that Lecker's trading on, let me know and then I'll try to look at it. HRJ saying I should share some of my chart analysis on my Discord. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm gonna probably start taking some screenshots of what I see, some interesting setups, chart setups, and I'll probably start posting that on the Discord. Guys, if you want to continue sharing your ideas and your thoughts about these cryptocurrencies, you can come on to the Meet Damien Discord, where I post when I go live here, and yeah, just try to share some memes every now and then. But yeah, I'm sorry, this is yeah, Meet Damien live stream. Yep. Yeah, I should share some memes here. But yeah, I guess I'll start posting some of the chart setups on the Meet Damien Discord. And for you TikTok guys, you could just follow me, please. Thank you. And send me a message. I'll try to get into the look at my messages. And if you guys want me to send you the link to join the Discord, I can send that link to you if you message me. Okay. And then my YouTube guys, you can just click on the link. It should be on the description to the video, and you can join the Meet Damien Discord channel there as well. All right, let's get back into it here. We're looking at TARS AI, and we got a few more requests after that. TARS AI. How come I'm not able to get TARS AI? All right, here we go. TARS protocol, TARS AI. All right, TARS AI currently trading at 0.077 pennies. And what can we make of this chart here? We did see the lowest lows for TARS AI back in April. Looks like we kind of created a higher low here June 21st here. And you're just in like some consolidation. Like you're in like a consolidation pattern on TARS AI, right? Kind of like making higher lows as best as you can, while at the same time you are making lower highs. Okay. So with that being said, you're actually getting towards the apex, the end of this symmetrical triangle that you're in right now on TARS AI. And you're gonna have to make a decision. Are you gonna go up or down? Because you came into this pattern from the bottom, I'm assuming that this thing is eventually gonna start going up on us. But it could actually just confuse everybody and frustrate all the investors out there by just continuing going sideways out of this pattern. And then we're just gonna have to, throw this thesis out that it's no longer in a symmetrical triangle and that we're just continuing building support at the 0.077 penny level. But if TARS AI can catch some bids here, then I have highlighted from previous chart work that we could get up to like 16.5 cents here, which is a level where we topped out here on May 27th, but is also a level that we were topping out and using as support back in like 2024 here. I think that's a key level to be on the lookout for here. Let me just throw on the VRVP, which I haven't done so far in the live stream, but I think it might be useful here. The VRVP indicator gives us these green and red bars here. The green is buys, the reds are sells, but it shows you the volume at different price levels, and we have a point of control sitting at 8 cents here. This is probably why you're not getting much price action above or below you, because a lot of it is happening literally at this level at 8 cents. Get above 8 cents and then the volume starts to drop off, and you might see an impulse move where this thing jumps up to like 11 cents. Might get a rejection at 11 cents, and then after you get past 11 cents, the volume drops off again, and you could probably shoot up right up to like 16 cents all over again on TARS AI. So you guys might want to consider those price targets and consider using the VRVP indicator here. Okay, I have a tutorial video on my YouTube and my TikTok that shows you how to use the VRVP indicator and how to make it look like I have it here. But I guess one of the key things when you're using the VRVP indicator is just you want to go into settings here and you go into inputs, and your VRVP indicator is probably going to have 24. All you do is just add a 0, 240, and then it'll look kind of like my indicator here. And then of course you can change the colors here to whatever color you need, but probably most important is to turn on that POC, and I made it blue so I can see that on the chart. So the point of control is going to be where this thing normally trades at, and it's going to be a level where we'll get support or resistance most likely, and that's where we're at right now on TARS AI. We're at the point of control, and if we can get above it, then we can be bullish. If we get rejected, then we might come down to the value area low, which is this white line right here, sitting at like 3-4 cents. So that would be rough if it does go down that low. You'll be losing about half of your investment, half of your money in this investment. All right. Guys, I gotta go grab some more water. Bear with me for a moment here. Just a little bit of an intermission here as I grab some more water, some more agua. Appreciate it for sticking with me. All right, gotta get that agua. Do a lot of talking here, and my throat gets a little bit harsh sometimes. All right, moving on to Cardano, and then we'll look at the Polkadot, and then we'll look at XLM and Link. Cardano. I think Cardano had a pretty good week, right? Actually, a lot of these cryptos had a pretty good week. But how good of a week did Cardano have? Cardano currently trading at 82 cents. Let me get rid of VRVP for now, as I start to zoom in on the daily chart here. Get rid of that. Yeah, Cardano is definitely in an uptrend, for sure. And what do we got here? What do we got? What do we got? Let me go turn the moving averages here, see how Cardano's doing with that. So you're above the 200-day moving average, so that's good to see. Get above the 200-day moving average, and you know my thoughts about that. That means you can be bullish once you get above that red line. So we're now in bull market territory for Cardano. And where could Cardano go next? Where could it go next? Or where should it go next? We need to get above the highs here in May at like 86 cents. I think we did that here on Friday. Yeah, we got up to like 89 cents. So you are making higher highs. That is good to see. And then from there, you want to make higher highs and go to higher prices, right? We saw it back here in March. Cardano was trading at $1.19. So I guess that's going to be the next high water mark to get above. And then eventually we want to see Cardano get above back here in December at $1.33. Okay. Those could be the levels where Cardano might get a little bit of rejection. So $1.19 and $1.33 are your upside targets on Cardano. Now, if Cardano decides to go down on us for some reason, and not in a good way, then we could see Cardano come right down to the 200-day moving average, sitting at 74 cents. Is where I think we'll get some support for Cardano if we do come down there. So it's like, about roughly, what, 8 cents away. That's where we could come down on Cardano. And I'll quickly do a Fibonacci retracement, see what other levels it could come down to. Alright, very interesting. So I drew this out, and it looks like we're already at the 786 retracement at 82 cents. But yeah, Cardano could come down, like I said, down to this 200-day moving average, sitting at 74 cents. And that would just put you right where the golden pocket retracement level is at. So most likely, if we do get a pullback, I believe 74 cents is where Cardano will come down to. But it could come down a little bit lower than that. We could do a deep retracement down to the 0.236 retracement at 62 cents. I'm not sure why we would have to go that far down, but it is a possibility here. And if we do, there might be a reaction for the people that use Fibonacci. They might start putting in their bid orders if Cardano gets down to 62 cents here. But yeah, going forward, you know, to higher prices here, I see 1272 at 99 cents. The dollar, you know, Cardano at a dollar is probably going to be a psychological level where people click the sell button. Then you got the 1618 at $1.12. And then you got a 2618. Maybe later on in 2025, you might see Cardano get up to like $1.48. But yeah, that's my analysis there on Cardano. Just using moving averages and Fibonacci. Alright, moving on to... Let's look at XLM actually. We'll look at XLM and then Polkadot. Because I know XLM had a good week because XRP had a good week. XLM is like the little brother or the cousin of XRP. Let's see. XLM, Stellar Lumens, trading at 46 cents. Up 1% today. I do have some previous chart work here. We were looking at XLM, I think, earlier this week. And mainly because XLM's, ever since like July 8th, about 10 days ago, has been on a bull run and an impulse move up to higher prices here. But now XLM is kind of like trading sideways for now at this 45-cent level, which is where the 786 retracement level is. So it's having a shallow pullback, but this is still extremely bullish. Keep building more support at the 45-cent level, and then yeah, we could see a Cardano go to higher prices. And if it does go up to higher prices, we have the 1272 saying that we could see a 60-cent Cardano, and then we could see maybe a 70-cent Cardano, the 1618 level here. And I think that's confluent, right? Is it confluent with some price action, previous price action? Let's see how high XLM got back in like November of last year. We saw XLM trading at about, interesting, 63 cents. Almost 64 cents was the high watermark in November. And then also we had like a candlewick high at like 60 cents. So yeah, I think 60 cents is probably where Stellar Lumens goes next. And then of course 70 cents after that. Yes, guys, listen to John 316. Don't forget to hit that like button. For my TikTok guys, double click, double tap your screen to hit that like button. Appreciate you guys showing your support and appreciation for my my live streams here. Thank you. And then John, what is John saying? John saying blessings. Your biggest bags are Kronos, XRP, Hedera, and Jasmine. That's cool. And then you got to go for a bike ride. All right, go get that exercise in. I need to do that myself, but I have a pretty busy day coming up here. Yeah, I got a bike ride does sound good, but it's pretty hot. I like the weather when it's like 70 degrees in the fall for bike rides, but got to get that exercise in every now and then, even if it is a hot day. All right, so that's XLM, right? I give you the upside targets. Downside target, I think the next downside target is going to be the 618 at 40 cents for Stellar Lumens. Like a 10% drop from where you are right now, but I think Stellar Lumens is doing quite all right. Just keep trading at this level, and then try to make your way up to like 50 or 60 cents, and you'll be all right on Stellar Lumens. All right, moving on to Polkadot, and then we got Chainlink after that. And I think that's going to be the requests, guys. I'm not trying to do too long of a live stream here. I do have some other things I need to do this Saturday. All right, Polkadot currently trading at $4.26. And Polkadot, right, trading at 426. Looks like we got that rejection off the 200-day moving average here. That was sitting at $4.61. We got rejected. It was also a 618 level here and a 6.5 golden pocket retracement, so that got respected. And now it looks like you're just using the 100-day moving average as support for now. Okay. if Polkadot decides to become bullish some more here, then I think we got to get up to that 786 retracement at $4.88. And then eventually get up to like 539, which is where you were trading at back here, right, in May. But if Polkadot loses this momentum and comes down to lower prices and it loses this 100-day moving average, then we could come down maybe to $3.92. 0.382 retracement sitting at that level, and then also you got the 50-day moving average, that green line could act as support. And for some reason, if it loses that, then you got the 0.236 at $3.58. That could be a deep retracement level that gets respected. I'm not sure why it would have to come down to that level, but it is a level to watch out for if you're a Fibonacci trader. All right. So that's upside and downside targets, I believe, for Polkadot. Maybe we'll take a look at the 1272, see if it can climb up higher. Yeah, we got the 1618 saying that this thing could get up to like $6.86. That might be later on in 2025 though. First, you got to get above that 200-day moving average, and then you can talk about maybe getting up to $6 here or $7. All right, moving on to Chainlink. And somebody asked me what are my thoughts or opinions on Chainlink. I think Chainlink is going to do quite all right. It's a good cryptocurrency to be in. Right now it's trading at $18.07. Chainlink has gone above the 200-day moving average, so I can start to be bullish on Chainlink. And you also got above this previous high here in May at $17.97, so that's good to see. Making progress, going up to higher prices. And we have seen Chainlink trading at higher prices. Back here in January, we were at like $25 for the most part. And yeah, we've seen this thing as high as like $30 in December. I think right now, you know, between $18 and $19 is probably going to be a little bit of resistance, because you got some you got a resistance level, some sideways trading action back in February around those levels. So I'm expecting consolidation here for Chainlink. Let me just go ahead and turn on the RSI, see what that looks like. Yeah, this RSI, this red line here, you are overbought on the daily time frame on Chainlink, so expect to go sideways at best. I would doubt that Chainlink actually goes up to $20 anytime soon, but if it does, that'd be a very pleasant surprise. But I don't think it's going to be able to stay at $20. I think $20 is going to be a level where people click the sell button on you if it does get up there that high. Let's see. Yeah, we got up to like $19 on Friday, and we weren't able to hold $19. But yeah, if Chainlink continues doing what it's doing, it's probably going to go sideways at best, and maybe come down to this 200-day moving average sitting at $16, create a higher low, and then we can start seeing if we can make higher highs here on Chainlink. I think Chainlink is doing just fine. Just continue doing what you're doing. Moving on to... Actually, I think that those are all my coins. I think we have requests here for Injective and Ondo. And ASAI. We already looked at TARS AI earlier in the live stream, but I guess I could take a look at it one more time for summary analysis. Kyle wants me to look at the Altcoin. All right. All right. What are we gonna look at? We'll look at TARS AI again, real quick, and then we'll look at Altcoin. Oh, and then we gotta look at Injective and Ondo. Yep. All right. So let me just give you a quick brief on TARS AI, since you missed it. So TARS AI is probably going to trade sideways for a little bit until the end of July here, and then it's got to make a decision. Are we just going to keep going sideways? Are we actually going to lose this level? Or are we going to most likely go up to higher prices because, you know, we came into this symmetrical triangle from the downside, from the bottom. So I'm expecting us to then continue going up when we decided to make that impulse move. And if we do go up to higher prices, I'm expecting 13 cents to be a level where it gets rejected at from the 2-day moving average. And then after that, 16.5 cents is probably going to be another level to be looking out for on TARS AI. Downside target, don't go lower than 6 cents, or else you might be continuing on the downtrend here. But yeah, that's TARS AI in a snapshot. Let's take a look at Injective, and then we'll look at Ondo. Alright, Injective. I haven't had anybody request Injective in a while. I think Injective is a sleeper coin. It did pretty well back in 2024. And I feel like people forgot about it. But Injective is currently trading at $13.93. It has seen better days back in 2024. We saw this thing trading as high as $44, $52 in March of 2024. And it's been in a downtrend. This downtrend, right? I connected the highs here in March, the highs here in December. And we're just still in a downtrend, making lower highs and, of course, lower lows. But recently, you've been making higher lows. You bottomed out here in April. You made a higher low here in June 22nd here. And I think this $15.50 level, this red line that I highlighted here, is a level to be on the lookout for. Because this is where we've had some previous reactions off of that price zone. Back here in August of 2024 and September of 2024. Also, we were kind of trading at that level in 2023. So I think 1550 for some reason is going to act as a resistance until we can turn it into support. And then we'll just see what Injective decides to do after that. But I think you might be catching, well, the lows for the year was back in April, but I think you can start to be bullish on Injective because, you know, you are creating higher lows here. You're making some progress on going to higher prices, and you got above the 200-day moving average. So I can start to be bullish on Injective now. But I think you got the resistance at 1550, and then you're going to probably get some resistance from this downtrend line. Let's not forget that this downtrend has to be broken in order for us to continue being bullish on Injective. So that's going to act as resistance at some point as well. But it looks like X marks the spot. I think 1550 is going to be where you get a lot of resistance on Injective. Alright, moving on to Ondo. Ondo Finance. Currently trading at $1.02. Let me get rid of this previous chart work here. And Ondo is also trying to get above his 200-day moving average. So, you know, my opinion about 200-day moving averages, get above it and you can be bullish. Go below it and you have to start considering being bearish as your bias. Right now, I could be bullish because we just got above the 200-day moving average, but we're probably going to go sideways on Ondo for now. And that's okay because then we can just use this as support instead of resistance on the 200-day moving average. I'll quickly throw in the RSI here, see what that's looking like. Come on. This RSI is at 71, so you are at overbought territory on Ondo, and you were overbought on Thursday at 75 on the RSI for Ondo, which leads me to believe that we're most likely going to go sideways and probably just use this 200-day moving average as support. And if we do go down, you know, maybe we come down to the 100-day moving average one more time to see if that acts as support. But I think Ondo is just going to trade at $1 for now. And it's a psychological number. It's a level that sticks out to a lot of people. And they're going to be like, yeah, I want to buy Ondo at $1 or under $1. And I think we're just gonna see, you know, Ondo between like 98 cents and $1.05 for, you know, probably the next few weeks here or next few days before we make another move to the upside or the downside. Whew. All right. Huh, there's someone in the chat named Dame. Okay. Coinbase verification. Interesting. All right, let me see. How high can Link go? I think we just talked about Chainlink. But let me just take a look at it real quick. I think I said I don't see Chainlink going above $20 anytime soon. I think $20 is going to be a resistance level. But as far as like go to higher prices, I mean, we have seen Chainlink trading at like 25 bucks back in January, so maybe that could be the next resistance level. I think that'd be a good time to start selling your Chainlink. Alright, and then we had a request here. What do we have? A request for, we talked about Injective and Ondo. Telecoin, I think was another request here. How do you even spell it? Telecoin. Telcoin. Okay. Well, look at that Telcoin now. Currently trading at 0.006 pennies. And we're getting data off of Mexi Exchange. And what can I make of this chart? Yeah, you had a nice couple of good weeks here in July. You got above the 200-day moving average, so that's good to see. You know how my thoughts about 200-day moving average. Get above it, and you can be bullish. So you can be bullish on Telecoin. But we just had an impulse move to the upside here. I'm expecting probably some consolidation here, where we go sideways on Telecoin, especially after breaking above the 200-day moving average. Let's see what the RSI looks like. Yep, all right, I can see it already. Oh no, get rid of that. I gotta click the right area. But yeah, RSI on Telecoin is at 77. You're overbought, and you're most likely gonna go sideways at best. Probably come down on price until you go below, you know, to the overbought levels here on Telecoin. But the thing about being overbought, if you're extremely bullish, you can continue being overbought. So, you know, if you're overbought and you continue being overbought, then maybe this thing does go to higher prices. But yeah, if this thing gets an RSI of like 90, then I would start considering taking profits. But if this thing does decide to come down, it could get some support at the 200-day moving average thing at 0.0057 pennies here. Is where I think you'll get some support and get a bounce to higher, hopefully to higher prices. If you're bullish on this asset. Just trying to see where this thing has been back. We seen some high prices here in February. About almost like a penny and a half. High water mark here, almost. Yeah, I think you can just remain bullish on Telecoin. If you lose the 200-day moving average, then you have to consider being bearish again. And maybe put the stop loss below the lows here in July. I think if this thing goes down to like 0.036 pennies, you probably don't want anything to do with it because there's something wrong with Telecoin and it's not doing what it needs to do to be bullish. So yeah, I put the stop loss right here. I don't want to lose any more money if I was in this asset below that level. All right, so that's Telcoin. XDC, is that a request? And I appreciate you guys hitting the follow button, following me on TikTok. If you follow me on TikTok, right, you'll be able to see me show up on your feeds here. And I do, you know, you can come join the 5,000 followers here on the Meet Damien channel, and you'll see me post up some of my videos here on some of these coins. The last one I did was XRP. And then, let's see, we also did Stellar Lumens and some other coins here. ZBCN. Yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum. I talk about all these coins here. on my TikTok. So yeah, go ahead and hit that follow button if you haven't already, and you'll see me talk about some of your cryptocurrencies here. All right, let's look at XDC, and then somebody wants to talk about baby Dogecoin. Is that even a thing? I never even heard of that thing. Baby Dogecoin. Okay. And I think that's gonna be it, guys, for requests. I don't know if I have enough energy to continue going past that for a live stream. I've done a lot of requests here, but thank you guys for keeping me busy here. XDC. XDC currently trading at 9 cents roughly, up 7% today. All right. And you are catching the bids like some of these other cryptocurrencies. It's having a pretty good week, pretty good couple of weeks, pretty good July actually. I have done some previous chart work already, but I'm not sure if this is gonna continue. Let's see. I have a big Fibonacci analysis measuring from, I think this thing was trading at like 15 pennies. Yeah, from like January of 2025 here. And I measured all the way down to the lows at 2 pennies, which is where it was trading at back in like October of 2024. Okay. So this thing continues respecting this Fibonacci analysis. Yeah, I think the 9 cent level is going to be a level where we just kind of hang out and go sideways for now. But once we start getting some more bullish momentum here, then yeah, 618 says that we might get some resistance at like 10, 11 pennies here, the golden pocket. It's probably where you're going to get rejected before you can start using it as support and then go up to higher prices. And you get the 786 retracement at 12, almost 13 pennies here. And I think that's confluent with some of the highs here back in January when this thing was trading at like 13 pennies for a high in January 23rd. So I think you can still use this Fibonacci analysis as a level that is probably going to get respected as we continue up to higher prices here. Now, if we go down to lower prices on XDC from where we are right now, you got the 200-day moving average sitting at 0.077 pennies, which is confluent with the 0.382 retracement. So I think if this thing does come down and loses this momentum, you're going to see this thing trading at 0.077 pennies all over again here, which is the, you know, where the 0.382 retracement's at, and also the 200-day moving average. All right, we'll take a look at baby Dogecoin. And then Tezos, I believe. And then that's it, guys. I can't do any more requests. I'll try to go live around the same time tomorrow. Actually, I'm not sure. It might be same time tomorrow or a little bit later. But yeah, that's my last request is gonna be Tezos here, and then I'm gonna look at Bitcoin, and then that's gonna be it for this live stream. All right, Tezos. Yeah, sure. I'm Bitfinex. Why not? What is going on here? This thing is up 43% today. Wow, almost 44%, and it was actually higher than that probably earlier today. This thing was high as $1.13. Okay, Tezos. Catching those bids. Very interesting chart to see. Very interesting candle. You got basically like a God candle here. Thank you, God. Or baby Jesus or whatever. Oh, that's right. We gotta look at baby Dogecoin. That's right. Yeah, so you're clearly above the 200-day moving average now. So you can be bullish on Tezos XTZ here. But I'm pretty sure this thing is now overbought. Let's look at the RSI real quick. Yeah, look at this RSI at 90. You better be clicking that sell button. Not financial advice, but I think if you don't click the sell button, someone else is going to click the sell button, and this thing is probably going to come down on you, or maybe go sideways at best. But I don't think now's a good time to be buying Tezos. I think you got to wait for this thing to cool down and probably pull back. And if it does do a pullback on you, we can measure from here, from the high down to the lows here. And it most likely should come down to the 618 retracement at 88 cents. But I wouldn't be surprised if it actually does a steeper pullback and comes down to the 200-day moving average at 74 cents, which is confluent with the 0.382 retracement. So this thing could come down to 73 cents and you'll be losing about 20%, 27% probably. Yeah, I would wait for this thing to show me that it can actually stay at $1. Because if it can't, then it's probably going to come down to 88 cents or even come down to like 73 cents. But once this thing decides to continue going up to higher prices and continue the bullish momentum here, you do have the 1272 at $1.31 and you got the 1618 at $1.53. And yeah, those would be your upside targets. Basically a 30% move higher from where you are right now, or even a 50% move from where you are right now. But yeah, Tesla's looking pretty solid, but I think the move has been made, and I think it's gonna consolidate from here. All right, let me see if I can find Baby Dogecoin. All right, I can. Yeah, here it is. Baby Doge. What the hell? What is this thing trading at? 0.000, all those zeros. We're just gonna call this 14,600. Yeah, 14,632. This thing is down 1.5% today. Looks like the 200-day moving average is acting as resistance right now. So that red line will continue acting as resistance until we can actually stay above it and use it as support. And that's sitting at like 15,700. What is the RSI looking? Because this thing actually had a pretty solid move here. What the hell? Oh my god, what is this? This thing is overbought. Yeah, I don't know. This looks messed up to me. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm not even gonna use the RSI. What the hell? But yeah, actually looking at the indicators here, you have a market cipher B green dot that came in saying that you should have been buying this thing on June 23rd, and you would have caught most of this move up to the upside here. But the next thing that comes after a green dot is a red dot. So when you see a red dot start showing up, that's when you probably should click the sell button on Baby Dogecoin. But yeah, Baby Dogecoin, get above 15,000, get above that 200-day moving average, and we could talk about being more bullish on Baby Dogecoin here. And then you're gonna have to eventually get above the highs here back in May at some point. This thing was trading as high as 22,000. So yeah, do that, and you can continue being even more bullish on Baby Dogecoin. But it looks like Baby Dogecoin, it actually had almost like a triple bottom. Like you had a bottom here in April, and then a bottom here on June 22nd. And now it's off to the races here on Baby Dogecoin. Yeah, downside target, you might come down to the 100-day or the 50-day sitting at 13,400. Yeah. All right, moving on to Bitcoin. Bitcoin looking solid right now. Up only $5 today. So Bitcoin not really doing much of anything, but still looking pretty good. Hanging out near $20,000. We haven't talked about Bitcoin at all in this live stream, but here we are now. Yeah, Bitcoin just hanging around, just like that meme, right? Like what's that Beetlejuice guy, hanging around, not doing anything, just hanging around. And I think that's because Bitcoin has already made this impulse move up this week, and it's just gonna trade sideways, and that's okay. We want it to go sideways. We don't want it to go down. Sideways is the next best option. We do want to see Bitcoin to go up to get people more excited about the cryptocurrency world here. But if I turn on the RSI here, yeah, Bitcoin was overbought here on on Monday at like 75 on the RSI. Came down a little bit. Got overbought again on Thursday, and now it came down a little bit, some more on the RSI. But yeah, Bitcoin can stay overbought when it does decide to continue going to higher prices here. It can do that. And we did have a red sell dot here on Wednesday, July 16th. So there's a possibility that Bitcoin might actually go down in price over the next few days here. And looking at the MACD, right? The buying pressure is dying down, and we might start seeing some red candles showing up, possibly. Would be nice if we just, the buying pressure dies down and then starts picking up again, but we'll just have to pay attention to the MACD. But like right now, like, yeah, things are kind of like cooling off here on Bitcoin. And we just want to see Bitcoin go sideways. But if it does decide to drop down on us, then we do have the 21 EMA, which it normally likes to trade around. The 21-day EMA is sitting at $113,000 Bitcoin. We could come down another $4,000 on Bitcoin before we get a bounce off the 21 EMA and go to higher prices again. Let me turn on the VRVP, see what that has to say. The VRVP is saying that we are building up some support here at $118,000 Bitcoin. But if we start losing, the momentum here on Bitcoin, there is a gap in the VRVP, and yeah, we could come right straight down to $113,000 or even $111,000 Bitcoin based off this VRVP here. We have a little bit of volume here at 113, 114. But yeah, I think Bitcoin could come down another $4,000 from where it is right now, or $5,000, and we would still be in a bullish uptrend if that was the case. It will give us a chance to reset the oscillators and also get people excited to like buy some cheaper Bitcoin rather than buying it at these levels here. But overall, I still think Bitcoin's going to go up to higher prices here. Let me get rid of the VRVP here real quick, and I'll draw out a Fibonacci here so you can see like what the extension levels might be for Bitcoin if it does go to higher prices. If Bitcoin goes to higher prices, we do have a 1272 that says $130,000 Bitcoin could be next. Then we got the 1618 saying $138,000 Bitcoin. And then we got a 2618 saying $163,000 Bitcoin could happen later on in 2025 here. Yep. Crazy, huh? Seeing Bitcoin at $100,000 and actually staying above $100,000. I don't know if we'll see $90,000 Bitcoin anytime soon here, guys. But if we do lose $100,000, then yeah, we do have the moving averages acting as support at $97,000 Bitcoin. Okay, $97,000 Bitcoin is probably where people will get excited again to buy Bitcoin below 100 grand. And then we might just bounce off of those levels. But yeah, I got the Fibonacci here. Even the Fibonacci is saying $113,000 Bitcoin is a level to be paying attention to. We probably will get support on Bitcoin if we drop down to that level using just the Fibonacci and also the 21 EMA here. Alright, so I think the level to be looking for next week is $113,000, $114,000 Bitcoin. Could be a level to scoop up some cheaper Bitcoin. And then if Bitcoin loses that, then yeah, we might be in for a bigger pullback. But if we do a bigger pullback, I think 0.236 at $104,000 Bitcoin is going to be a level that gets a lot of support. Yeah, I know I got all these numbers, but I'm just using the Fibonacci, guys. These are levels to be looking out for where we might trade sideways or get a reaction and go, trend reversal and go a different direction. But yeah, I think Bitcoin just needs to chill out here where it's at. If we're extremely bullish on Bitcoin, then we're probably never going to go lower than $117,000. We are still making higher lows here on the candle wicks here. And yeah, we might see $123,000 Bitcoin all over again. One more time as we go up to higher prices here. Alright guys, that's going to be it. Hey, I appreciate Rose coming in from Spain. Don't forget to hit... Oh yeah, you actually did hit the follow button. Awesome. So I got a new follower. Thank you. And Bergain is saying it's going for sure down to 114K. And then Roman is saying, what site is this? I'm using TradingView to do my chart pattern analysis here. Look up www.tradingview.com. Alright, and you'll be able to look at the charts like I'm looking at. But you won't be able to get all these indicators unless you have a subscription plan. I think subscription plans are like anywhere between like $100 to $200 a year. But then you'll be able to do all these indicators, the moving averages, the Fibonacci, the VRVP, all that crazy stuff, right? If you get a subscription. But if you don't get a subscription, then you might be able to do like maybe a few moving averages, maybe the RSI, and that's it. They only give, I think they give you like 5 indicators, or maybe like 3 indicators if you're not gonna do a subscription. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it. Oh, Joe showing up to the live stream here. Joe, we're actually ending the live stream here, but if you want to watch the replay, by all means, we did a lot of altcoins today to look at. But I appreciate you coming in and hitting that like button. Thank you, Joe. And yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. I'm gonna try to go live maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure what time, probably same time. But if not, maybe later on tomorrow. Later on in the afternoon. Alright? Take care, guys, and good luck trading and investing in whatever asset you decide to get yourself into. Take care, guys.